Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to the I Love You So Much YouTube channel. If you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and let's get started with the episode. Okay, Justin, we have to talk about your week because I don't even know when this episode's gonna go up. You have had a lot of drama. Instagram tried to take you down.
No, it did, and I don't know why they're coming after me. It's like making me crazy. And again, last night something happened. But for like the past few months, I've been getting like these weird notifications on my Instagram, like something has been reported and like your account is at risk of being deleted. And I have no idea what's going on, right? And I keep getting these things and my Instagram was just acting weird. All of a sudden, my lives got taken away. And I love going on Instagram Live. Like I enjoy it. Like I love talking to people who follow me.
You're like one of the few people who loves Instagram Live.
No, I like love it because I really use Instagram in a way to like connect with people that follow me. So
yes.
Like, I love getting there, chatting with people, whatever. I love when I'm like a little bit drunk on vacation, like I go live and like whatever. And my lives got taken away. I'm like, okay, this is getting really weird, whatever.
Too far with the lives.
Yeah, like that was the biggest deal. And then a couple nights ago, or in the morning, I woke up, went on Instagram like we all do, and I turned it on, and all of a sudden it just said, you've been logged out. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went and I tried to like log back in. It wouldn't let me. Then I went on my like business account, and I went and looked for my Instagram, and it was gone. Like my Instagram, my personal Instagram was wiped from Instagram. And so I was like freaking out. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, Nashville time. I'm talking to a girl who works for me in LA and telling her. And long story short, months ago, or now it's like 6 months ago, I was talking crap about Demi Lovato on the internet. And I was basically just calling her out for like this whole like yogurt shop debacle that she had. And I was just saying like,
I don't think anyone will ever get over this one, by the way. I want us to go into this, but I think that this is a stain in her career.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think that it really showed people who she is, to be honest, you know? And so anyways, when that happened, I was very vocal about it. And I was just saying this is so wrong for a celebrity with that kind of following to try to call out a small business during a pandemic. Like every business is having a hard time keeping their doors open, paying for their employees. And here's Demi Lovato with 100 million or whatever her following is on Instagram, and she's calling out this business. So I was just talking about it, saying I think that's so hypocritical. Celebrities know better. Anyone with a following knows better. You know, I don't have anywhere near that kind of a following, but I know that if I call out a business, people who really love me on the internet are going to go attack them or whatever, or, you know, like I know what it does. So I was talking about that. Well, her fans are crazy. Like they're lunatics. Like I'll say it right now. And like, I don't care. I have nothing to hide. Who cares? But I think Demi runs like her fan accounts. I think there's like fake accounts that will come for you, because when I was talking about Demi, all of a sudden I get a lot of DMs because I talk to a lot of people on Instagram. Every time I would refresh my DMs, like DM requests, it was like 100 new messages every single time. And it was all these accounts being like, you need to shut your mouth, fag, stop talking about Demi, like all this stuff. And I was like, whoa, okay, so this is weird or whatever. It kept going on forever. Long story short, I think they got crazy and just were reporting my account like crazy. And Instagram doesn't have like the bandwidth to know what so many people are like reporting an account for. So at some point they just turn it off. Anyways, I got in touch with like Facebook, Meta, whatever it is. I was actually emailing with a real person that works there because everyone was so rad. I got so many people reaching out to me on my other account, on like my business account, being like, I have a connection. Let me set you up. We'll get your account back, whatever. And I talked to them, the account came back. But there's a feature on Instagram. Did you know if you go to somebody's page that's been disabled or they've been canceled or whatever, if you go to their page, because it'll just say their name, but everything's wiped out. If you shake your phone on Instagram, a report will pop up and you report it. So on my other account, I said to everyone, hey, you guys, please go to my account. It's been disabled. Shake your phone. And that's really what did it, because it was like, if all of a sudden thousands of people are like, please bring this account back, it was a mistake, my account came back. Because friends of mine who had their accounts taken away for like legitimate reasons, it will take like at least 24 hours, but sometimes months. I had friends who like, they were like, it took a month to get my account back. Mine was back within the same day. And all of a sudden it just popped back up.
That is so
it was
weird.
like the craziest thing. And it's so dumb because it's like, I'm a 40-year-old man. Like I run a business. I'm in a relationship. I'm happy. But like, so I was embarrassed to be like, what's going on with my Instagram? But like, it's a big deal.
It's
like,
a really big deal.
You create like this space where you like connect with people. Like I keep saying, I genuinely enjoy it. I like the people that I like talk to on Instagram. And when it's just taken away from you, it's a really big deal. But it freaked me out because that actually made me feel like I'm like, I don't like that I'm putting this much energy into a platform like Instagram when they actually like own everything about us. And it freaked me out. Years ago, we talked about this, but I had a podcast, and that immediately made me be like, you know what? I want my podcast back. I want to go to a place where I can like actually,
Thank God.
I can talk to people.
I was begging him.
Because putting all of our stuff into one platform,
Yeah.
like it's not cool. Like they own us as far as that goes. I saw what happened. They wiped me clean in one day.
That's why even just in like the social media space as a whole, they always tell you like diversify accounts. Like you need to be on every platform. And it's, searchability, but a lot of it is because if you lose one, you have the other. It is really scary.
Yeah. No, it totally is. I just like, I'm like, what am I going to do? Have a YouTube channel? Or
Yeah,
like
where
I
you
just
gonna
started
go?
doing TikTok and I really enjoy
I was just going to ask, how do you feel about TikTok?
I think it's fun, but I like to be a viewer on TikTok.
Yeah,
like
I
I like
get that.
seeing everything because really, I mean, I can't dance around my kitchen and sing. So lately I've been
You
like,
do dance around your kitchen.
yeah,
And sing, though. What are you talking about?
It's literally so on brand for me. All I do on Instagram is like sing in my car. I'm such a little like teenage girl at heart. But like, so TikTok is actually good for me. So I'm warming up to it and I'm having fun on it. But it was that really showed me it's like, don't put everything into Instagram.
All your eggs in one basket kind of
Exactly.
thing. I have a logistical question. So obviously you have been a celebrity hairstylist with Jen Anderson, like the most famous people in the world. So when you're talking shit about other celebrities, does that ever get awkward?
It's so funny because, yeah, it does. Because it's like there's connections between celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And not only just celebrities who are connected, but their management, who they work with and stuff. But at the end of the day, I feel like all of my big celebrity clients, they all became my friends because I worked with them for so many years, and they all know who I am at heart. And I'm not going to just talk shit about somebody's outfit or the way that they look or anything, but like when I see things that are off, like, yeah, I'll talk about it on my platform. And I don't think of my platform as this massive thing, and I don't think that I'm the voice of reason or anything. I just want to talk. I want to have conversations, and I like when people are like, no, Justin, I think you're wrong. Like they had every right to do that or whatever. Like I like a back and forth. So I think a lot of my celebrities understand that. Recently, though, I mean, Hailey Bieber unfollowed me. I've known her forever. She unfollowed me when I was talking crap about Travis Scott. So I think she's like tight with the Kardashians. But I got it. But I was just kind of like, really? Like, I can't talk about Travis Scott's concert being crazy, And there was a lot of like conspiracies that went into that, though. Like, it started getting really dark. Did you pay attention to that?
I didn't, but I know that there were conspiracy type things. Other than that, I didn't keep up with it like too much.
I was more of the place because I guess there's some deep conspiracies where people are like, this is like devil worshiping, and it was
Yes,
like a
I remember
seance.
that.
And that whole thing freaked me out. But I was like, you guys, imagine if you had a family member that was there, and this is how they're dealing with it. They're kind of just sweeping on the rug, like, oh well, it was a crazy concert, and that's what happened. And that's what my voice was. I was just like, this is heartbreaking that we're just kind of being like, oh well, it was a busy concert,
I remember actually the like devil worshiping thing, how there was some conspiracy with that. But my thing is that like I grew up in Texas. My Christian background is actually from LA. I'm like I'll always surprise you, like a very odd thing, and I'm like not really involved at this point. But my friends and I were like, my God, like Christians just love making everything about them. I remember being annoyed in that sense, but like it was heartbreaking.
It was heartbreaking. But yeah, there is this weird thing that's like, why are the religion stuff is fine. I grew up Mormon, and I love my Mormon family. I have a massive family. I understand the need. Like, I loved having a religious background growing up because it was all about family and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But as I got older, I was kind of like, okay, organized religion, it's not really my thing. I don't need it as an adult. Like, just be a good person and treat everyone with respect or whatever. But yeah, a lot of the like religious groups were like, this is the devil's work. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The thing that's so crazy to me about that, because I started talking to some people in the DMs who were like really deep down that side of it all, and I was like, you guys, this isn't a thing. And they're like, no, Hollywood's all about the devil. Everything is like it's a whatever. And I was like, it's not though. And the things that you're seeing is them actually playing into exactly what you're saying. It's publicity. Like when Lil Nas sells a shoe with blood in it, he's doing it so you all talk about it.
Shock value.
They know what they're doing. It's shock value. So it's like when I hear that kind of stuff, I really didn't hear a lot of that until I came here to the South. I moved from Los Angeles to Nashville. I live in Nashville full time. Love Nashville so much. It's so open-minded here. It's a great place to live. But I didn't realize that there was so much of that kind of talk going on. Like in that, like when people be like, "Oh, you worked with certain celebrities. I heard that blah blah." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, those conspiracies are crazy." Like Ellen DeGeneres eats babies. Oprah has like, it's just the craziest stuff. Where I'm like, you guys, celebrities are really not like as intense as you think they are. It's insane.
It's so interesting. Also, from everyone that I've talked to in the past 48 hours, like, being in Nashville, I'm actually but there's so many people who've been like, everyone here goes to church. And I was like, I didn't realize that it was like, I don't know, I think maybe because I thought it was like more of a big city. I mean, it is a big city, but like, I don't know, because I'm like, I don't even feel that way in Dallas. But I was like, I just like didn't realize. No, not even feeling that, just people talking about. I had a dinner with some friends last night who we were just talking about like similar issues that we've had, like figuring spirituality, faith out, whatever. Yeah. And they were like, I mean, it's definitely different, but a lot of like, I don't know, for whatever reason, I just like didn't even think about church in Nashville. I don't know why. I never thought about that.
I didn't really either. And to be honest, it's not this huge thing. Because I remember when I was moving here, friends of mine in LA were like, "What are you doing moving to the South being a gay man? Like, that's crazy." And I'm like, no, it's not. I go to Nashville all the time. It's one of my favorite cities or whatever. And I think people have that idea. But there is, like, when you go a bit out of Nashville, I mean, there's a church on every corner. Yeah. Every corner that you drive on, there's a church on. So there's a lot of church people here. But like I was saying earlier, like, I'm very comfortable with the church community. I think they are some of the kindest people in the world. Yeah, there's going to be people who are judgmental and stuff, but that's in every group. Any group of people that you find, there's going to be like the judgmental ones. But I feel safe around church people, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like for the most part.
I like your outlook because I've heard you talk about like being ex-Mormon essentially. I like your outlook on it because I think it's really easy when you leave like some sort of organized religion to be like, fuck them, I hate them, evil, whatever.
It makes me so angry.
Yeah, because it is one of those things where it's like, also a lot of my, like, we were just like largely involved with like a religious kind of thing. And leaving it, I was like, I don't ever want to be the person who's like, I actually hate, like, I think a lot of it comes from hurt, like, obviously. But I was like, I don't want to land on that. Like, I think you navigate emotions and then you realize it's like, I can say like there's so many good things that come out of it. I think sometimes you just go through different phases in life and things just don't make sense, or you need time apart or time away, like whatever it is. But I love the way that you handle it and talk about it, especially as a gay man. Like, you really, of all people, could like say whatever you wanted to.
Yeah, I could go down that path. And I just think for me, it's like, I see it for really what it is. I understand why people love religion so much and why they need it in their life. It gives a lot of people, a road to follow, and a lot of people would be lost without religion. And so I don't judge that at all. And I can honestly say that, like, my massive Mormon family, when I came out of the closet, like, nobody gave me a hard time about it. They were all open. So there's warm, nice, kind Mormon people. It's just that's a part of religion. It takes them a lot longer to come to terms with gay rights or any of these kind of things, and I don't hold that against them. I also, like you were just saying, like, I feel like it's a lot of who I am. Like, being raised in the Mormon church, it's all about being super kind and taking care of people around you. I didn't grow up around a really judgmental family that was like, oh, they're not Mormon, they're going to hell. Like, we didn't talk like that. So I think a lot of like my kindness comes from that place. So I don't want to turn on it. I understand why people are still really in the church. But as things get worse, I mean, like, they need to just step up to the whole gay thing. It's like, you guys, gay people aren't going anywhere. God made gay people. Like, Can we just accept it at this point? And it's like, also, that's just a fight that you're going to drag on forever. And if we want to get really, really deep, because I think about this all the time. I mean, if you look at the statistics of what's happening with religion, it is declining really fast.
Rapidly.
People are not going back to church. So if these people are really passionate about being Christians or being Mormons, you guys need to, like, realize that you're not going to have a lot of members 20 years from now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, gay people are not going anywhere. So it's like, let's just figure that out and move on with it. Otherwise, like, your religion is going to go away. And I think that's the direction it'll end up going in. I think, like, for me,
there's a choice for them. They, obviously there's a few reasons as to why people leave organized religion, especially in their 20s. I actually had to write papers on this in college too. I have random stats. Like, they're probably not good. It's the one thing I probably didn't cheat on in college because I was actually interested in people leaving the church. But one of the huge things is LGBTQ plus. Like, that was for my friends and I, like, I think actually probably the biggest thing. And that it's just going to be interesting. 'Cause I'm like, over time, what are you going to do? Like, when no
Yeah.
one comes to your church, even any of the churches I know, I'm like, they're like congregation, population, whatever, it's declining. Like, what are you going to do?
They have to figure that out because it's a real thing. Like, it will just completely go away. And, you know, like, I'm so thankful for, like, your generation. Like, you're a lot younger than I am, and, like, the voice that you guys have, and you really do care and you're passionate about it. I mean, that's just going to get more and more, you know, as people, like, learn more. So it's like, this is just kind of a dead-end road, what they're doing. So that's also where I come from, the place when people are like, why aren't you fighting louder for, like, justice for gay issues and stuff? And I really, really feel like I'm not being a cop-out when I say this. I feel like we're going in that direction already, and I don't feel like my community, and I always feel weird saying that because I don't know who all is part of it anymore, but like I feel like there's enough of that, you know, and I feel like what our community actually needs is some kindness and being like, it's okay, you guys are taking some time, like we'll be patient with it, we'll get there. Like, I have the right to be married, you know, like I can get married to my partner. They are doing some weird things right now, but I also think that has a lot to do with we're about to vote again,
Yeah,
midterms
it's
and all that. So it's
election
all that
stuff,
stuff to pull people, to get us fighting online and stuff. So I want to pull back from the fighting online and be more thankful and appreciative. I'm just appreciative that I can be a gay man and hold my boyfriend's hand and walk down the streets of Nashville and not be scared for it. You know, it's like we are moving in the right direction. I think we need to focus on more of those positives more, but also hell yeah to the people who fight and all that kind of stuff, because I think that is wonderful. You know, I just find on my social media, I like to be a place of like positivity and gratefulness and listening to people. I like to talk to people. I want to talk to Susie, who's deep in the Christian church, and I want to ask her, like, what is your issue with gay? If you think that God is so against gay people and you think gay people are going to hell, you're okay. You're not gay. So why don't you just love gay people from afar? And don't you think God would be proud of you for that? Being like, at least you were nice to him.
Doesn't that just sound so obvious, too?
It sounds so obvious, and that's where it's like, but I really feel like it is that obvious, because it's like, we have to remember, like, you're from Dallas, a massive city. I'm living in Nashville. It's a massive city. I grew up in Los Angeles my entire life. I didn't realize that it was such an issue until I left. And that says something to me. Like, I was way too comfortable in Los Angeles. Los Angeles and New York are a bubble. When I talk to my friends in Los Angeles, the things they talk about, I'm like, there is a part of it where I'm like, you guys are so not in touch with reality, you know, because it's like the hardworking people of the middle of the country are so different, you know. Like, recently I was driving from Nashville all the way down to the beach in Florida just to like get in the car. I love driving, and it's the closest beach. And it was during like COVID and all that. And I was driving through this part of Alabama, and it was just like houses spread all out or whatever. And I turned and I said to my partner, Scoot, I was like, Scoot, like, these people who are in this part of the world, and this is their world, they vote for the same things that we vote for in cities. Like, we're supposed to have the same ideal. Like, all of this stuff makes sense when you really look at the country, you know, like, we're all so different. We have to find a way to like start to understand each other again. Does that make sense at all? Or am I just being like,
no, that makes complete sense. Also, I think it's like you already, like, I'm not saying that, like, I'm not putting words in your mouth, and I obviously don't know your experience, but it's not the easiest thing to grow up gay, I can only assume.
Oh.
So when someone is telling a gay person what they need to be doing, when it's like you already, like, that, like, I'm sure for most people, it's like people describe it as like very traumatic. So it's kind of crazy to me of like putting all of that weight, like maybe like do it yourself. Like, why are you relying on all the people who need it, the help? Like, shut the fuck up. It actually is kind of crazy if you think about it.
No, it is true. Yeah, like the pressure of being like, you need to speak up more.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, no, I've dealt with my homosexuality my whole entire life. Like, I came out of the closet.
Like, you can be tired too. Like,
yes.
You can be tired. Yeah.
Also, it's like, yeah, at my point in my life, like, I really am like, I don't want to fight everything every single year, you know. Like I said, I'm 40 years old. Like, I did a lot of that in my 20s, all that kind of stuff. And at this point, like, I don't know, I feel like also Instagram and Twitter and all this stuff, it makes us feel like every day we need to wake up and fight for something. We've got to take a break. All of us are burnt the fuck out. That's why we're fighting all the time. You have to realize that stuff that's happening 7,000 miles away from your house, like, you don't have to be freaking out about it. You know, like, every time, even like, people will come on my page when I'm singing in the car, and they'll be like, there was a tornado in Oklahoma. How are you just singing in your car? And they're like, there was someone just got kidnapped in Ohio. And like, so every day there is something, and you can go down that journey, just be that fighter for injustice and all that kind of stuff. But, or you, at some point, you have to take care of yourself.
And you have to live too.
You have to live. You have to be positive. You have to pick the things that you want to be really passionate about. Because I don't know, COVID taught me a lot. It taught me that like, we don't have life forever. Like anything can happen in the world and our life could end. And it's like at some point we've just got to enjoy it. And I don't know. But also there's probably people out there being like, easy for a white man to say. So I get it. It's like, that's why a lot of times I don't say a lot. Also, I'm afraid to say anything because I am a white man, but I'm a gay white man, so I have the gay card, right?
Yeah, you do have that.
So stupid.
No, but it is one of those things where, like, unfortunately, we live in a very broken world. So if we're going to play that card, it would be every second of your life. Like, it's not downplaying other tragedies. It's just the reality of, like, you cannot live a happy, productive life focusing on all that. Also, we were not, like, created to even know about tragedies that are happening outside of our world. Like, we were not created and made for that. So the reason so many negative, like, it's not like being ignorant. Like, I don't think that's the heart behind it. It's just that, like, a human cannot actually do that.
We can't handle that.
You can't handle it.
We can't go through all those emotions. And the thing that I think about all the time is, like, if I start fighting for a bunch of different issues that are happening, then people who follow me are going to come to me for that, and they're going to expect me to keep doing it. So I'm like, I'm not going to step into that arena because I don't want it to become my whole life. I know as a person, I don't have the strength for that. I like to keep myself positive. I like to be a positive force for people around me on social media. I want people to come to my Instagram for positivity, for happiness. I don't want to step into that arena. I just don't. And I think it's okay for people to say that now, just being like, I don't want to wake up every day fighting. And you made an amazing point. Like, it's only now that we have social media and we have all this access to so much happening. Like, remember when we were growing up, like, you didn't even know what people in the next town were doing.
Yeah.
I didn't, like, I mean, I'm a lot older than you, but, like, I didn't even know what people in the next high school were doing. I didn't know any of them. Now we're all so connected that we're fighting every issue. Like, every week there's a new person kidnapped or, like, a crime or, like, you know, there's war. It's just insane.
Mm-hmm. And, like, I think the pro of that is that, like, obviously, like, with certain, like, social injustices, it's helped a ton. But I think the con is that mental health wise, to so many people, I can't imagine, like, what that is doing. We're just not, like, it's not that you shouldn't care about issues. It's just that as humans, you were not created to be you don't have the capacity. No one has the capacity.
No, you nailed it. By saying that, you absolutely nailed it. I think it's like we're not equipped to take on that much stuff all the time. Like, that will burn us out. And especially for people, I don't know how you are, but, like, I'm a feeler. Like, I worry about people, like, everyone around me. It's like, I can't get into that stuff. I can't watch the news all day long. I can't check for all the, like, crazy things that are happening. Like, I will spiral out of control. So I know myself. Let me be me. You know, it's like, trust me, in my life, there's a lot of issues that I worry about, you know, and I can take care of them in other ways by giving them, you know, donations and, like, with my company, things that we put money into. But, like, I can't go on my social media and scream every day.
You have really good boundaries in general. I feel like even with social media, like, I know, like, you said something on the Skinny Confidential that I have said to so many friends. I've repeated. I was telling them this before, guys. I had COVID in December and I was down bad. And I binged, I think, every single podcast that I think any word you've ever said, I listened to every single. It was like my comfort listen. That was the only thing that got me through COVID. But you said something about how, like, Southern California has changed a lot. And it used to be this place, because I was like, I can't really, like, I lived there for 5 years. I didn't grow up there. I've spent a lot of time there on top of that. And I was like, there's something about it to me that has just changed and feels a little bit different. Obviously, there's going to be people who don't feel the same. But you said it's interesting because it used to be this place where people would come and feel so accepted and, like, loved and free and whatever. And then, like, now if you were not checking off the box of, like, literally, like, 37, I'm adding this, like, 37 boxes of, like, things that you have to be or care about or whatever it is, like, then they hate you. Like, it's very difficult. And obviously that's generalizing. It's not every single person. But I think overall, it's kind of not even, it's a lot of places now.
No, it's a vibe. Like I said, I grew up in Southern California from day one. And by the time I left, I was just noticing it's like it wasn't the same place. It's attracting the kind of people that, like, I don't really want to be around, you know? And I just got to a point where I was like, I do not like it here. And then on top of it, you're just, like, in traffic all the time. Yeah. Everything's expensive. Like, it was too hard of a life.
You have to really love the city from your core to stay living there, I think.
But what do people love about it now?
I don't know, because here's the thing. I look back on it and, like, it's not even, like, I don't hate LA by any means. There's nothing about it that makes me want to be there. Like,
that's how I feel.
Even now, if I have, like, a podcasting that I need to be there for, I'm like, all right, let me know. I'll put 3 in a day. I'll fly in that morning, fly out that night.
That's exactly how I feel.
But it happened over time. Like, and when I lived there, I was there from when I was 17 to 22. bought the house in Texas at February 2020. Thought I was gonna, because I was renting in my place in LA. It was an incredible deal. So I was gonna do both, and then COVID hit, and then I came back to LA, and now I'm back, and now I'm in Dallas full time, but I'm there, and there's just something about it. Like when I was there, I loved it, and I didn't feel that way, but I think a lot of it, granted, are like lifestyle changes that I've made, I'm sure, but just my life in Dallas, and like I'm just so much more fulfilled, and I would never be able to have created the life that I have in LA because the city is just different. Like.
Yeah. Well, and the
draining
vibe is off, because you and I actually did the exact same thing. I bought my house in Nashville, and my real plan was to keep going back and forth LA to Nashville. I was never going to live in Nashville full time, but then COVID happened right after we bought our house in Nashville, so I just kind of got stuck here. And then I was just like you, I never wanted to go back. I would get all these jobs, and I have all my celebrity clients there, and I was going back and doing them all the time, and I just got to a place where I was like, I don't want to go back there. I would land at LAX and just be like, it was like this weight, and I was
that's how I feel.
Yeah, and so I don't know what it is, and it's a bummer because my whole entire life I have fought for California. I'm like, California's the best state in the country, like it's so great, like whatever. But something just really did change over like the past 5 years for me, and the vibe is off, and I don't know what it is. But maybe we'll end up missing it and go back and I don't know. But people are like, oh, they have the mountain and the beach and stuff. I'm like, but you guys never go to the beach because it's like traffic takes 3 hours to get there.
Exactly.
And you can't find parking.
It sounds a lot better in theory.
It sounds a lot better in theory, but the day-to-day life is really bad in LA.
Yeah.
If you want to run to the grocery store,
oh my God,
you can't even park. You get in there, you're bumping into cars.
Horrible. I moved to Studio City, and I was like, oh my God, there's parking lots in Los Angeles. Like I was like, this is out in the valley. Like I was like, this is actually going anywhere. I would be gone every day because I also was in school. I would wake up at 5 a.m. I would go work out. I would go to class, and I would be in my car. I would have to live out of my car the whole day because I didn't have time. I would go to class, then I would go to Jam Radio, the studio, and I would be there all day. I would finally get back at like 8 p.m. and then I would have to do all my other work and then like homework.
No, it's not. It's not a real life, and that's why when I moved here to Nashville, all of a sudden I was like, this is how you're supposed to live.
Yeah.
Like I can run multiple errands in an hour. You can park really easily. Like I'm driving on the road listening to really good music or a podcast, and I'm happy because I'm not in crazy bumper to bumper traffic. And then you go out and everyone's really nice. It's not just a thing that people say. Like Southern people are freaking nice.
Just nice.
That's why I like it so much. Like since I was a kid, I've had a fascination with the South. I love the Southern accent. I love how sweet the people are. And they really talk to you. They say hi. They remember your name. When people say like, "Oh, let's grab a drink," or "Let's," like they mean it.
They mean it.
Like in LA, it's like, "Oh, let's grab a drink," and then they like run from you. They never want to see you again. You know, like I don't know. This is just such a better way of life. I feel just like a weight taken off.
Yeah,
of me
I
here.
feel so free when I'm like in Texas in general. I'm like, and I'm obviously certain people love LA, and there's certain, and like there's parts of it I'm grateful for my time there. It helped me so much career wise. Like there's so many good things. But I also think it's okay to just like not love a place that much anymore and say that, because there's so many people who's like their whole lives are like, I want to move to Los Angeles, and I'm like, have fun. Like I hope you enjoy it.
And people should try it out and whatever. And I am like you. I'm very careful of like I don't want to bash a city. And at the end of the day, who cares what cities we like and we don't? Because we all gonna like certain things. You know, there's people who wouldn't like Nashville, but I happen to love it. You know, but I think people get really weird when they live in LA and you talk crap about it, like, oh, you're a hater because you're not here anymore. I'm like, I don't have any like connection to anymore. I'm really just talking from the heart. Like it just doesn't make me feel good anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm like you. I mean, what it did for my career, and all of my family's there, so I'll still have to go back and visit family and stuff. I try to make them all come here.
Would they move?
Yeah. Some of them want to, but it's like jobs are different, and I am so lucky that I was in a place in my life that, or like what you do. You know, we can live in different places, so it's like cities will keep you there for work. You know, and I'm so lucky that I was able to pick where I wanted to be. But I don't know. Some people really love it there.
Yeah. I mean, it's great. It's just, I just think it's an important thing to talk about. Like, there are other cities in the world to live in besides LA and New York. And if anything, like from the pandemic especially, I mean, Texas is booming. Nashville is booming. Like,
oh my God.
There are so many other places to live too. And like, I love New York actually. And there's parts of LA that I do like, but there's just other places to live too, guys.
That's the thing that people didn't really realize either. Like when I moved to Nashville, a lot of my close friends, a few of them actually did leave LA. But a lot of people were kind of like, wait, you're really, really happy there? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, you don't miss Erewhon, or like, you don't miss like all the things that. And I'm like,
my $17 matcha order? Not really.
You know? I like having more money in the bank.
Yeah.
I like having like the freedom of a lot of things. So no, I don't. So yeah, and people learned during the pandemic that they wanted to live in different places. There's a lot of other places other than Los Angeles and New York.
Yeah, like I promise, guys.
Like really great places too.
So many good cities.
And I want to live in a place like Nashville, where I'm like, I have a really nice lifestyle, and then I want to go visit. Like next week,
Yes.
I'm in New York for a week, and I'm looking forward to that because I do like the restaurants in New York. I like the vibe of the city, but also New York, it's not for me. I couldn't live there full time. Like I would go crazy, but I like to go visit great places, you know, and then come back to this little like sanctuary. You know?
That's how I feel about Dallas. I love it. I'm like, I leave often. I travel a ton for work, but it's just nice having a place that's home. People are nice. Like, it's just the lifestyle. I don't know. It's just, I've built a lifestyle that I don't think I knew I really wanted. Like, when I was younger, I would have been like, LA or New York or die. Like, I was just very like naive. I was like, this is where I have to live. Like, I'm speaking to my 17-year-old self, right? And then as time went on, I was like, you know, this city is great for like what it was for me. But I think I'm in a different phase of my life, and
you're
it's
still
not...
a baby, so it's sweet that you're like staying. I mean, you're 24, right?
Yeah, but like, I look at myself a week ago and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know?
But like, I think that also like you wanted to make this kind of career for yourself. So like your aspirations, I think immediately people think if I'm going to be successful in a creative industry, I have to be in LA, and that's just not true anywhere. You can be like, you can be anywhere. There's a lot of stuff happening in so many cities. Like when I pulled up to this studio today, I was like, this place is amazing. Like, and I had no idea that it was here. Like, so lots of things are happening outside of LA and New York now.
Yeah, it's very important. I want to talk about your life as a businessman. Truly, you are. I need your day-to-day routine. What are you doing? Obviously, I know the answer is it changes every day, but like, give me some like info.
So I was a colorist. That was my career, and I worked on some of the biggest celebrities. I pretty much worked on anyone that I ever wanted to, and so I made a name for myself like in the hair world, hair color. And I always knew that I wanted to own a business. Like when I dropped out of college, my parents were so pissed off, and they were like,
"Weren't you like a frat boy too?"
I was in a fraternity.
By the way, I actually see that. Like I
I'm like the most frattiest gay guy on earth. Like I really can vibe with frat. I think that's why I'm like good because I could be around anybody, but yeah, I could get into that frat stuff. But when I dropped out of college, my family was so upset. My parents were like, doing hair is not a career. Like, you need to finish school. And it's funny now because it's like I've turned it into a massive career for myself, and I do better than my siblings. I make more money than my siblings who went to college. And my thing is like, if you have something you're passionate about, you should chase it. I really knew that I wanted to do hair, and I knew that I wanted to have my own hair care line. I just knew it from a young age. I used to watch like the QVC HSN where they sell products, and I would imagine myself like selling my own hair products on there. And I've actually been on HSN selling my products.
Crazy.
So it's like chase your dreams, like that will happen.
Full
so I knew I
circle.
kind of always wanted to do it. But when I was doing hair, I remember one time I was doing like 25 clients a day in the salon, and I hurt my back. And it was like I was at work, and I was so in so much pain, and I was like, I need to figure out a backup plan. Like I can't be like, all of a sudden I like put myself at like being 50 years old and like my back hurting and bending over 20 clients a day. So I think that's really when I like kickstarted into like having my own product line. So what DP Hue is my product line. It takes care of all of your hair care needs in between salon visits to make your hair color look as beautiful as possible in between salon visits. But that's just what I'm working on entirely now. We just launched in the UK, so my products are now available in the UK. We're going to Australia next, and so we're really expanding really quick, and it's amazing to see it, but I have put so much of myself into it. So day by day, I wake up really early because I'm a morning person. I like to get all of my emails and stuff out of the way super early in the morning. I believe in social media helps me a lot in my business. You know, like I get feedback from people, what kind of products they think would be cool to make. I also can talk to people about my products, and they can spread it out to people, and that's how people find the products and whatnot. So I spend a lot of time in the morning like engaging with people on Instagram and stuff, working out, and then the whole day everything is on Zoom now. Like I can do everything on Zoom. Yesterday I did 2 podcasts, 3 meetings on Zoom, talked to people in the UK. So it's that, but a lot of it is also like making new products. What do you specifically want to know? I'm like rambling now.
No, you're
I'm like
doing
telling
good.
you everything.
Also, I love the apple cider vinegar hair rinse, whatever. It like I love that. It's so good. Yeah, day to day. Let's go back to your like morning routine. What workouts do you do?
So I do hot yoga pretty much every day. Like I'll maybe take one.
I'm a hot Pilates girl, so like
I'm
similar,
obsessed with it.
Obsessed.
There's got to be something too, because you and I probably have similar personalities. Like we're probably a little manic. Like we're like always chasing the next best thing.
Absolutely.
All that kind of stuff. When I go into a hot yoga room, there's something about that really hot room. It takes all my worries away.
Yes.
Because all you can focus.
I can't work out when it's not hot anymore. It's weird. Yeah.
And like when you get, it really puts you in that zone. Like when I'm that hot, I feel like I'm like just trying to survive at that point. So like it's good for me. I really do have ADHD, and like I really can't focus for that long. Like That's why hair was really good for me. So that workout really kind of centers me first thing in the morning.
Are you the person who's like on like their head in class? Like the one that's like you look over and you're like, oh my God, how the
Girl,
hell?
my body's way too big for all that. I like weigh like 225. Like that would not be cute. Like this big 225 guy on his head. But I'm actually like, it's funny. Like I'll go to a new class and the teacher after will be like, wow, you're really flexible or whatever. And I was like, why? Because I'm so big. Like you think that I wouldn't be like flexible. But no, I'm not a crazy yoga person. And actually some of those crazy yoga people like kind of bother me. Maybe because I'm like, I can't do it. But I'm like, can you quit showing off?
Yeah, like maybe it's jealousy.
Yeah.
But like,
I would never say something, but I kind of look over and I'm like, you've been on your head for 10 minutes. We get it. You could do a headstand.
Calm down.
Yeah, we're not all doing that right now. So no,
we've moved on in class.
Like, she's still there. So I do that. And then I lift weights a bunch of times a week. And then eat really, really healthy. My partner is an amazing cook. Like
so convenient.
He's such a good cook. But these are things, the only reason that like I think that's important, or I'm even talking about it, is because I really do think, people ask me all the time, like, how do you have so much energy to do so much? And I'm like, it's because of my fitness and the diet. And nobody wants to hear that, because like, oh yeah, of course you eat healthy and you feel good. But it's like, it's real though. You know, it's like, I know when I go on vacation, and I don't even go that crazy, I still try to stay kind of healthy, but I'm drinking a lot more, and maybe I'm eating some more fried food. But the way it makes me feel, and I recognize it so much, where I'm like, I can't do that in my normal life, you know? So cutting gluten out of my diet, all that kind of stuff, that has helped my whole career completely. I really believe in that kind of stuff. But sometimes people hate hearing that.
Yeah, but I don't know why that's like controversial. Like that like makes sense. My mom, I always joke that my mom like thinks she's Gwyneth Paltrow, like that organic, like that, you know what I'm saying? Like very healthy. But it's crazy because like I didn't grow up in a household that was organic or anything by any means. But like,
well, you were in Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were having fun in Texas with the food.
I'm like barbecue, still my favorite food group. But like my mom, like for instance, for her Christmas gifts for me was like an infrared higher dose sleeping bag thing. Like,
I love your mom.
She's so, oh my God, you would be obsessed with her. Is that. But I will say, my mom has never looked better. She genuinely looks like she could be one of our sisters now. She looks younger than she did 15 years ago. And it's because honestly, it's what she eats. She's so drastically, she did that, and then she also did like a lot of like blood work and like figured out what was wrong with her or whatever.
I did that too, and that totally changes everything.
It's crazy.
I feel like I had the real luxury of like, because Gwyneth Paltrow was a client of mine forever. I know her very well. Jennifer Aniston, Margot Robbie. Like, I was with these women who, like, I was seeing what they were doing and how amazing they looked. You know, even like Chelsea Handler, she's a really good friend of mine. And Chelsea parties and has fun, but like her skin is glowing and she looks so healthy. And it's like, when you know the little tricks and stuff, like I really believe in the infrared lights. Oh
my God, I went into it, like did an infrared sauna just this morning because I needed it. And I'm like 2 steps away from buying one for my house.
Well, you know Juve, right?
No, yeah, but
the Juve lights.
Yes.
So that's the rays. Like you get the actual like red lights. I sit in front of that every single day.
Because the Bosticks do this too, right?
Yeah,
I want to say I've heard it from them. Okay.
Yeah, I was talking to Lauren about it recently. So I love that. I take a shot of apple cider vinegar every single morning. I think that gets like my body going. Poop, to be honest, it like gets everything moving. I think that when I took gluten out of my diet, it changed everything. This is all such LA shit where people are probably like rolling their eyes like, we get it, whatever. But there's these things that once you figure them out and you see what it does for you, it really does matter. And when I was in LA, I forget which client had me go to this one doctor where they took all of my blood work and stuff, and he really went through what I should and shouldn't eat. And I followed the plan and I immediately felt so much better. And it's just like, these things are real, you know, and it just depends on if you want to put the work in. But I just have a lot more I want to do in life, and I want to keep up with how much I want to do.
Yeah, and you like have to.
And I have a young boy. He's 13 years younger than I am. So I gotta like keep up, you know.
You guys are like so in love too. It's so cute.
We are so in love. I am so thankful for him. He's the greatest person on earth, and I'm a hopeless romantic, and I'm obsessed with relationships. So one time I'll come back on your podcast and we should talk about relationships, because the stuff that I've watched of yours, I really like how much you talk about that. And I love girls in general. All my friends are girls. I just love feminine energy, but I also really like your age girls right now, because the way that you guys are talking like fucking pumps me up. Like I wish I was like a 24-year-old guy right now. It's like all my girlfriends would be 24, because I love like how you guys are like taking the power back, and you guys are realizing a lot more like what you want out of life. And even with relationships, like this whole thing on TikTok, the thing that I get a kick out of is the way that people call out misogynistic men, you know, and this whole thing where like, that is so my time. Like when I was in the fraternity and I heard the way that guys talked about girls, and my jaw would be on the ground, because it's like, my little sister is my best friend. I'm just always thinking about my best girlfriend. I'm like, you guys are talking about women that way. So I love the way that your generation is talking about all of that. I think it's just so amazing. I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to make the future look like, because it's like putting your foot down and being like, no, we want more out of life.
You know what I think the difference is? Because I've actually been talking about this a lot recently. Also, I have like no interest in dating myself right now. Like
That's good.
I just don't care.
Listen to that.
But I think the difference, you know, things are saying that, because all of my friends are like shitting on me all the time, but
you're in Texas too. I mean, it's kind of like the Mormon thing. They like think you need to be married by 26.
It's so crazy though, because none of my friends are even dating. Like I don't have, because we're I guess in the city, but like no one. My friends in LA, I have more friends in LA who got married than I do in Texas. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Like bizarre. But I will say I think the difference now with girls is that before relationally, people were looking at it, one, like they needed support and money, like monetarily, and also kind of like direction in life, and like that was like your next step. And now with a lot of girls who like have careers and have made a life for themselves and have made money, like it's more common now in this age. I think there's less like emphasis or need. At least I don't feel like I need a relationship as much as like I would if I wasn't as like career focused. I think that might have something to do with it.
Well, and you have to listen to that, because it's like you're telling yourself exactly what you want right now. And the other thing to think about is like, we're living a lot longer. Like
True.
Some of these people, like when they get married at 24, like my cousins are getting married at 22 years old. I'm like, you're going to be with that person for like 60, 80 years.
I would be the most miserable person if I married who I was with at 22. Yeah. I would literally like, I would not be well.
And my parents, like they got married at 19 and 20. And my mom would always say, she's like, I wish I got married later. I missed out on my 20s and stuff. Like I believe that. Like I really do. I think that like, we have time to be in a relationship, and I think it's like, but if you happen to find the perfect guy that you're so in love with, you go with it. But this whole like obsession with finding someone and settling.
Oh my God, I would rather die. That's my biggest fear in life. I think that's my problem with dating now.
But you're gorgeous and you have a lot on your plate, and you have a lot to offer to a guy. But some people feel like they need to settle. They're like, oh, well, what if I don't meet somebody else? And I'm like, that's the biggest bummer to me, because it's like,
I see it all the time,
too. I'm the most honest person. Like, I would be really honest. If I was like, oh, I can't stand my partner, I would tell you, you know? But I am so grateful for him. And when you're in a really healthy relationship, and we've been together for like 8 years now, and I have consistently loved him the whole time. And it's like, I really am in such a healthy relationship where we really just enjoy each other. And when you experience that, the other, like, you're like, how did I ever do that? Because I've been in unhealthy relationships, like in my 20s and stuff, where I was like, oh, but I should be with them because whatever. And I was miserable and I hated it. And it's like, you will find somebody who's good for you. Like, nobody should be in a relationship just because they're afraid to be alone. Also, being alone is so fun.
That's the other thing, is that I love being alone so much that I'm like, okay, what tip would you leave the audience with who's looking for that though? Like, what, not looking for it in the way that they're like obsessed with it, but like obviously people
looking
like
for
want
love
and a healthy relationship.
Being yourself authentically from the beginning. I think the thing that, like, it's so funny because all of my girlfriends who are single, like when we talk about like when I talk to them about dating and stuff, like I'll say to them, like, you're not presenting who you really are. Like, I don't want to name any of my friends' names in case they listen to this, but like certain friends, I'm like, you like to party and you want to sleep in, so you can't go on a date and act like you're a certain type of girl. Then all of a sudden 3 months later, he's like, wait a second, you want to like rage at a concert and stuff. Like, you have to be
and not run at 5 a.m.
Yeah, you have to like be yourself from the very beginning and say the things that you're really looking for. You can't also act like you're looking for a relationship if you're not. But I think a lot of people like put on like a mask. Maybe it's also from like social media and how there's so many fucking filters out there and everything's like so like that like I don't feel like people are themselves enough, you know? Like,
I agree.
I feel like
I think also people are afraid of being themselves and afraid of saying anything. Like, I feel like we're in a time where everything is taken the wrong way, that it's like really scary, and you become way less funny. Well, but it doesn't have to be like offensive. I'm not talking about that. I just mean like in general, people are like too self-aware.
way too self-aware.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you really connect with someone, like think about anyone in your life that you've really connected with, friend-wise even, it's like you connect when you're like you're just yourself. Like my closest friends are the ones that like we say everything to each other, you know? And it's like it's talked about all the time for so many years now, the whole thing about vulnerability. And it's like I think that when you're really vulnerable, when you're willing to open up in your life or open up to a partner, it's like if you want that deep, deep connection, which I do, like I can honestly say Scoot, my partner, he's my best friend. And not like in the way that they say in like romantic comedy movies, like, I'm looking for my best friend. Like he really is my best friend. Like I adore him. I look forward to seeing him every time I get to see him, you know? And I think it's because we like are so ourselves. I used to do like this thing in my last relationship. I dated this guy who was a lot older and he was really successful and had a lot of money. We had a beautiful life before I met my partner now. And I kind of played a role and it wasn't really who I was. Like I was acting like I cared about all the fancy things that we did, but it wasn't really making me happy, you know? And it wasn't until I just like like Scoot and I, we like to like lay in bed all day on the weekends and just like watch movies together. And I would have been embarrassed in the past being like feel lazy, but now it's like you accept each other for that. I don't know. There's just so many things. You've got to just be yourself and be honest about what you're looking for in a relationship. I want to do nothing on the weekends and then go hard during the week getting all my stuff done. And I'm glad that I found a partner who doesn't judge me for that. And then when we travel, we go hard. We're the exact same.
I love it. Okay, amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. I could literally sit
I know,
for like
you and I
3 more days. So I need you to bring the podcast back. But where can they find you?
On Instagram, I'm at Justin Anderson, or just my name, Justin Anderson. I always say at, like the...
I do too, now that I think about it.
One time I told someone that recently, and I saw them write it down, because they're like, what's your handle on Instagram? And they wrote... At Justin Anderson. So it's just my name, Justin Anderson. And then my products are DPHUE if you want to go check them out. We're at Sephora, Ulta, Nordstrom's, Amazon. We're in the UK now, so we're going everywhere.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you, babe.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know by giving it a nice thumbs up and subscribe for more.